Hey guys, today we're here at CR Laine. I'm here with Holly Blaylock. She's the Vice President of Merchandising and Marketing here. You know, you guys have done a great job with leather, but I think this season you guys are doing some new stuff. Could you talk about that?
Oh, absolutely. This season is a big deal when it comes to leather because we are really celebrating the product in a way that we haven't before, because we've kind of treated leather as maybe that special little moment that could happen.
Yeah.
But what we've fallen in love with is just the aesthetic of leather, how it develops and brings on the character of a life well lived.
Yeah.
And so today we want to talk about the luxurious side of leather.
Yeah. So this is what we would consider a very natural leather. Correct, Holly?
Oh, indeed, because through the process you're able to see through the colors and see all these beautiful markings that are on display.
Yeah, well, let's start with the basics. So I think the first thing people should understand about in leather is that it's an organic material that comes from an animal, right? And so when we look at the material itself, it is not a square, it doesn't come on a roll. One of the things that we like to point out is that each animal has different markings and different natural characteristics, right? So let's talk about that, for example, when you guys put together a piece of furniture.
Well, the first thing we do is to collect up a number of hides that we're going to need to create the piece and look at them aesthetically. We want to see how the color variation changes from hide to hide, because it is a natural product and it receives the color differently. And then we're also looking at the markings because we're seeing what can we feature in the prominent areas of the chair, which would be like your inside back, the top of your cushions, your outside back. What is going to be featured on those primary spots?
All right, so we've got just 3 hides here. This is called Winchester. And one of the things I wanted to call out really quick is that in these 3 hides, there's a little bit of a color variation, but when they're put together, they make a beautiful piece, correct?
Correct. I'm glad you talked about color variation at the beginning of the process, because you just showed us a little bit of how it could look different from hide to hide, but we even see the variation that happens within the hide.
That's right.
So, you know, we consider that there's going to be color is going to be like a flow that runs through the whole chair.
It's almost like painting, right? So when you get that brush really full of paint and you start your stroke, it's deeper and darker, and then as you pull away the paint, it becomes a little bit lighter towards the edge.
Yeah.
I think the same is true in these natural leathers, whether it's a pull-up that happens around the arm or back of a chair, right? Or if it's upholstered very loosely in the middle of a cushion, right, it's going to remain a little bit darker. So I think your all staff is really strong in the craftsmanship of this product.
Right.
So when they see these particular areas, they can say, okay, I know this is going to be a cushion, right? So we're going to focus on using that lighter area, right? Where when we get to some of these areas that are going to be pulled really tight or taut, we might cut along these edges that are a little bit darker. Again, these are around the arms. Maybe this is something that's on the underside of a seat cushion, as you said. So,
and great consideration is given to where each pattern part is laid. It's not like we just say, okay, here's all the parts that we need, let's just lay them on there and just see what efficiencies we can get. We have to consider the artfulness of the process as well, and knowing that, okay, this is where we want this part highlighted, and how can we get the efficiencies.
So the beautiful thing about you guys choosing these natural leathers is that no 2 pieces will ever look alike.
Correct.
Right? So talk about that as also a fear. Perhaps as an interior designer, you say, oh my goodness, I'm so afraid that, you know, these 2 chairs won't look alike in the room.
Right.
What would you say to that?
What I would say to that is to celebrate that as a characteristic of a natural leather. Now, there are other leathers that are more corrected, that can maybe give you more color consistency, but in a leather like this, as you mentioned earlier, if you pull on this, it bursts and the colors are changing. And that's going to happen when your chair is delivered, and you're going to see where the upholstered pulled area is tighter than areas that didn't need as much pull. The color's already going to be different there. And then when you look at that chair compared to another chair that was made at the exact same time sitting next to it, they're both going to have different characteristics, and that's only going to continue to develop. So what I would tell them is to embrace that characteristic of natural leather.
I think that that's a beautiful thing too. Like, it reminds us where the chair came from. It reminds us that it was crafted by hand, you know, and I think it has like a feel of honesty and hard work to it that I think is so unique to this craftsmanship here in Hickory, North Carolina. All right, Holly, we moved over here to the cutting area, and we're working with Mary. Mary has 20 years of experience specifically in leather. She's highlighting these areas that you guys want to feature on the chair, correct?
That's right. So she uses her marker to kind of guide the process on where we can find the most beautiful moments to feature.
So after she's taken her expertise and put it on this piece, we're going to cut it, and then tell us about that process.
Well, we're going to take you to our automatic cutter,
okay,
and we're going to show you how we combine new innovation with the mindset of old school craftsmanship.
Cool, let's do it. Holly, we've wrapped up the process. I mean, we have a beautiful finished chair. Tell us about this chair and how really it came from hide to be in its finished state.
Well, this is the Wyatt chair.
Okay. This is going to be new to market this year, right?
Correct. So Wyatt is brand new to our collection, and we designed it thinking like what would be a good vehicle for leather. So we kind of backed into that process a little bit rather than saying, hey, this is a cool looking chair. How would it look in leather? We're just like, hey, this is a great leather. What style of chair would it look good on?
Yeah.
So Wyatt has its roots in mid-century modern design,
Yeah.
Little Danish influence, nice thin lines, lots of shapy curves, and some of that shapiness you see here on this nice full back, which over time is going to settle in and get even more comfortable.
Well, I think this is a great example of the hide selection we showed in the beginning, right? So if the center of this hide is dark, right, that's going to be kind of this part of the cushion, correct?
Correct. That's a great observation because you do already see that there is darkness still left in these pieces that haven't been pulled to stretch as much as this arm piece here that has been, during the upholstery process, pulled, and the oils and waxes in the leather are bursting open and showing just different layers of colors.
Well, they look great, and we know that by the use, this is going to get darker, right? This is where we're going to rest our hands or our cup as we're reading or just sitting watching TV in this chair.
It'll match beautifully, but I also love that it will darken up in different ways and different places over time.
Yeah.
That patina or character that develops is unique to the person that uses it regularly. How do they use it? How do they sit?
Yeah.
And it leaves that kind of imprint from how they use it.
Well, it's an amazing piece. Tell us more about where we can find out more about the furniture in Sierra Laine.
Well, you can find out about Sierra Laine at sierralaine.com. And we have our full collection there, including images of all of the leathers that we carry.
Awesome. So guys, again, Holly Blaylock, Vice President of Merchandising and Marketing. We've loved being with you guys today. You guys did an amazing job.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
You're always welcome.